Good morning, friends. Today we are going to create the most gorgeous moving dragonfly compositions you have ever seen in your life. And this is just a small snippet here of a lesson or of one of my creations. It looks difficult, but it is so easy. You will have much success with this. So we're going to get started. A dragonfly is pretty cool. And you know, think about the name. They're big. They are big. And probably whoever named them was like, holy smokes, you know, that thing's as big as a dragon flying around. So that's probably where it got its name. Their wings are not like butterfly wings. They kind of go up and then they swoop down. So they have a very distinct silhouette. A butterfly is more, you know, kind of rounded and, I don't want to say fluffy, but they've got more of a, what's the word I'm looking for? A much chunkier shape, I guess. These are very slender, and the way they go out and swoop is totally, you know, synonymous with a dragonfly. So what I did is I Googled dragonfly clip art, and I found one or two, and I just kind of changed the size around a little bit. So I had, you know, two different sizes to work with. See, that one's a little bit smaller, and I could have drawn this, but I wanted them pretty much perfect. You know what I mean? Here's another one. I made this one smaller. I've cut the body off. I'm not really concerned about the body, and you'll see why, because we're going to paint that on later on. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to find a dragonfly image and print it out, or you can draw your own stencil. That's fine. And yeah, I could have drawn my own stencil, sure, but I just didn't. So you're going to cut it out, and like I said, don't worry about the body part. All we're looking at are the wings. So that's step one. You get that prepped. The next step we're going to do is you're going to take some of your glorious painted paper that you probably already have on hand, and you should, and we're going to make a symmetrical print out of this paper, because your wings of your dragonfly are going to be symmetrical. Now, do you have to do them symmetrical? No, but this is just kind of fun. So I'm going to dab on some color. I'm going to do some black in here. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Then I'm going to take it, fold it in half, and squish it down. Open it up, and you've got some symmetrical goodness right here. Now, we could add some more if you wanted to. I'm just going to add, you could add it to both sides, but I only kind of feel like you need it on one side because we're printing it. I think I'm going to add some more black in here and there. And print it again. All right. And then open it up. Ooh, I like that. And you're going to let it dry. Now, I'm going to bump you up a little bit more. Well, maybe not. So there's your paper. Now, what else could you do with this? If your color was like really light and you wanted to add a little dark, go ahead and add some splitter splatters everywhere. And that will keep it from looking so symmetrical, okay? Just gives it a little bit of variety there. So that's going to dry because you're going to have to fold it in half again. Now, I have some papers that I did earlier, and they are just about dry. And you can see they are symmetrical. See how I folded that one? And this one too. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take this paper and we're going to fold it back in half. Now, you're going to take one of your cut out wings. Remember, you don't need the body. And what we're going to do is I'm going to take a pen so you can see this on camera. I'm putting my dragonfly body right in the center of my paper. Oops, it's a little wet right there. Oh, I'm going to have to do it again. that paper just tore. I'm still wet. And I'm tracing around, and it's folded. Now, I used copy paper for this, just good old computer paper. So since I did that, you can take more than one sheet and put it in here and cut these wings out. So I'm just going to cut that off. You can see, I'm going to go around and cut these little babies out. Now, this paper that I used is still a little damp, so just be real careful if you're impatient like I am. So there's a set of wings. And here's another set. Ooh, I like these. I love the green and the, oh my gosh. Let's cut some more. I'm going to cut, here's my smaller one. Put my smaller one on the fold. And just by doing the different sizes, it gives it a little variety. It'll make your dragonflies look like some are in the foreground, some are in the background. They don't all have to be the same size. And remember, we don't need the body. Don't worry about trying to put that body on the fold. I'll drive you crazy. All right, so we're gonna open this one up. Ooh, I'm liking these colors. I like these colors. That's pretty cool. Ooh, I really like that one. Look at that. Okay, so once you have several, and I see I might have a few from earlier today. Where did those go? Oh, here's another one. There's another baby. Oh, here's a yellow. Now, I cut this one, and I cut it on the line. So here's the yellow paper that I cut from. So let's go ahead and do that again. I'm going to do another big one. Make sure you can see here. But this is just a good old Google textbook dragonfly image. And like I said, you could make your own stencil, but it was just too easy for me to Google, bring it in, resize it, print it out. And I did use just regular thin printed paper, copy paper to paint on this time. And I'm going to backtrack into, ooh, I like that. Okay, so we have those beautiful little wings cut. Ta-da! Now, since our dragonflies are so bright and cheery, I wanted a background that was a little bit more dark and muted so they really pop. So what I did is on this one, and I'm going to show you all this later because I cut this baby in half so I could do the detailing. This one right here, I used, let's see if I can make it a little bit taller here. Hang on, I'll make it taller. My big old thing right here. All right. So this one, I used just kind of a taupey brown color. And I took a marker and just kind of swirled it before I painted because it looks like they, you know, swoop and zig and zag and make all those loop-de-loops like an airplane or a trick plane. But I wanted the background to be darker so they show up. Because if I had used something, you know, like that and then put them all over, you might not be able to see them as well because of the color. Okay, you want them to pop. So what I did this morning is I took a canvas, and it was a canvas that didn't go anywhere. It was actually a fish at one time. And you could probably still see, you can still see the fish on it, but that's okay. We're not worried about that today. So here is my canvas. I'll make sure I get that nice and big for you. This is 20 by 10 canvas, so it's long. Okay, I'm actually going to turn it to its side. We'll work on it sideways. But I want my dragonflies kind of fluttering up. This is going to be the top. So you might just start plopping them on here. Wherever they fall, because they can overlap. And on this one, I may need to do some more. Might need to cut some more out. Okay, but do you see them fluttering all around here? I don't know, I kind of like that. Like I said, they can overlap, that is perfectly acceptable. I might even use this one just to bring in some more yellow. I can kind of overlap it a little bit like that. They could go off the side. You could always clip this wing off and add it over here, you know, on this side. Anything you want to do is perfectly acceptable. Okay, so I think, let's see, I think I'm going to take this one and swap it right there. So the next thing you're going to do, because these are all dry, I'm going to use good old Mod Podge today. You can use the matte medium, but I'm just going to work with that because that's what I have right here. And you're going to take your Mod Podge and flip a couple over at once. And I'm not really concerned about where these are going right this second. But we're going to really soak this paper. And you can do it right on your canvas because you can get it on your canvas because we're going to be putting it on our canvas as well. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't put any swirlies on this one. Oh well, we'll just leave it at that. I could always take my marker. Where's my marker? I could put a little swirly up here. Just a little bit. Look at that. Ta-da! That's all I needed. Okay, so I'm going to take these and I'm just going to let them flop where they flop. That's good. Now, since this is copy paper, it is very thin, and I tore a couple earlier, but that's, you know, that's no big deal. You can just piece them back together. You can piece them right back together. So, you're going to take your, oops, see, I already tore that one. That's okay. You can take your fingers, rub them out. Okay. I always put some more on top to stick them down really, really good. Okay. And I need some overlappage here. I don't have anything that's overlapping yet. So I'm going to pull this one out. Come on now. It's stuck down here. No, I don't want that one. I think I want a green one overlapping on this yellow. So I say there's no rhyme or reason to it, but sometimes you look at the colors and you're like, no, I need that. I'll let that one pop. And you also might want to be aware of where you're putting these because of their bodies. You're going to be painting their body and their eyeballs. And then the rest of it is fun, crazy one-line marker work, which you're going to think, what is she talking about? We'll flop you. Put you right there. I also used a hair dryer to dry my sheets because I wanted them to dry super quick. And with this printer paper that you're using, because we're just doing this kind of for fun, it's not going to be archival or anything like that. Your printer paper, it really soaks up this Mod Podge or matte medium, and it just adheres nicely. You don't have to worry about watercolor paper bubbling on you or anything like that. There's the dog. 1 of 7. Okay, so you have this on here. And it's not, of course it's not dry yet. Okay, but I'm going to bring this down closer to you all, my friends, because I'm going to show you how to do your bodies. Even though this isn't dry yet, you can still paint on top of it. It's just fine. And these two have less Mod Podge on them. Okay, so I used black. You could use, you know, a dark green or, you know, any dark color. But I just thought black because I'm just kind of working in kind of a silhouette. I'm going to get another brush. I used a big brush when I did mine this morning. So I'm going to get a smaller, I'm just going to grab a smaller brush, just like that. And I have some watered down black here. Now, let's look at this dragonfly. You've got an orb in the center. You've got a head with 2 eyes on either side, and then you've got a long stick-like body. And that's all there is to it. We're not worried about all these little knuckles or joints or whatever. So we're just going to put an orb in the middle. little head up here. You can put 2 dots on the side to make eyes. And then you're just going to pull down a stick body. And that's all there is to it. Orb in the middle, head, a dot on either side, and pull down. And you could practice that pull down. When I'm pulling down, I pull down and just kind of float off. Super easy. Orby, dot, dot, and pull that stick body down. These are looking cool. Orby thing, head, dot, dot, sticky. My little Mod Podge just mixing. This looks cool. Orby thing, head, dot, dot, and sticky down. Okay. Orby, dot, dot, sticky down. So none of these were really overlapping too much, you know, in front of each other. On the one that I'm going to show you, I kind of had a little bit of overlapping. Let's see if I can make this bigger so you can see that whole thing. I'm raising that up. So that's looking really, really cute. And it's a little hazy right now because our Mod Podge is not all the way dry quite yet. But that's, you know, that's just because we're doing this live here. But I'm liking how this looks. Now, it still looks a little bit dull to me. And when we use our paint pens, and we're going to use them all in one continuous, very delicate line kind of, it is going to really give these guys some movement and let you see what is going on here. Okay, so this is basically, okay, focus, what I have on the other canvas that we just did. You can see this one's overlapping here. Now, this is dry. Before you get your marker out, your paint marker, you want this totally dry, because what will happen to your tip is you'll end up messing it all up. So I'm going to put this down, and I'm going to start. Come on, focus here, thing. I'm going to change the focus on this for you. There we go. Now we're not going to be moving around. Okay, I'm going to start on this wing. I am not going to take my marker up. This gives it a very painterly look. Okay. And it really, oops, I said I wasn't going to take it up, but it really adds to the movement of these dragonflies. So you could go around your body. You could just trace some pattern in the wing. They can all be different, okay? If you wanted to go kind of like trace around the different color, where the colors separate in the wing, you could. A little antenna. If you wanted to give them a couple legs, you could put that in there. Okay, let's go back on this one. You could do this with a black. You could go back with black on top. You could go back with another color, like a navy or a pink. But this makes it look like you have put brushwork lines on these babies right here. So I'm going to put this one back together because I cut it in half so you could see what I was doing. Okay, but look at all that. I love how those lines just make these things pop. Now, what else could you do with this? Let's move you back up here. You could take some gold and accent it here and there. Let that cord back here for you. Let's see, where's our gold? You could take a little gold and add a little tipping on the wings. And it's kind of hard to see on camera, but you do get the idea here. The other critter that I wanted to do this with, and I still may do it, is crabs. I think it would be fun to cut a crab out and do like red crabs hanging as if they were on, being cooked, or, bringing them out of a pot or something with like a bright blue background. And then add all that good stuff to it. I like the fact, let's pretend like this is a whole one here. I like the fact that there's not a lot of going on in the background. If you didn't like the line, I want to show you what it would look like if we removed, or if you didn't do the line, which I'm okay with. We could take that out. This is just to show you what it would look like. But I like the negative space behind these. So those silhouettes really come to the foreground. They really pop. Okay. Whoops, got a little black on there. That's okay. You could even put these guys on, a white background. So I've kind of taken away the swirly lines. And that looks way cool. I would love to see this. If you had like a big area in your house and you could do like a huge 30 by 40 canvas of these. Gosh, they'd be gorgeous. They would be gorgeous. And it really looks like, yeah, they are dragonflies, but it really looks like you have painted, these crazy dragonflies. And you didn't, all you did was trace and cut. Which I think is so cool, that you can make art just by tracing and cutting and going for it like that. Isn't that cool? I like it. And what if you did, what if you did your canvas sideways? Because I did both of mine kind of flying up, just because I see dragonflies, in the air. But you could have them, here, if it was a longer canvas, even the 10 by 20, and have more at the bottom and then flying up. You could do a composition or a smaller canvas that just had, 3 dragonflies. Or if you wanted to do some little gift canvases, why not take something, let's see, where are my canvases? Oh, I don't know. Let's just grab something here. What if you had a canvas and just did, one dragonfly and just gave them as little gifts, or made little ornaments out of them, or just even on a note card. You could take cardstock and do the same thing. You don't even have to paint the background, and you could decoupage or Mod Podge a dragonfly wings on there, paint it, put that, sign it. Oh my gosh, people would get that little note in the mail and they'd want to frame it right off the bat. So this guy is almost dry, and I'll go back and doodle on him. So I will go inside and dry him, and then we'll put it back on. Oh, I just smeared him up right there. Look at that. So I'm going to go hit this one with the dryer, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to doodle on this one a little bit more. Okay? I'll be right back, peeps. Okay, friends, I'm back. So I made this a minute ago, and then everything crashed on me, but that's okay. Okay, so I took this one in and dried it. I'm going to raise it up because I just did all this on camera for you with my swirly little lines, and it turned out fabulous. I just think these little lines with the Posca markers are just so painterly and delicate. They just remind me of the dragonfly wings themselves. And, like I said, you could go and trace where 2 colors separate. You could just make swirls or loops. It doesn't matter. But, you don't have to stay in the lines. It leads to that movement of those zooming and, soaring and buzzing and dive bombing dragonflies. And I love it. I love the color variety here with the dark background. It makes these little guys just really pop and look like they're zooming, buzzing the tower here. Okay, so with that being said, I Googled crab images. Now, I've cut these in half, but you can see I made one smaller and one larger. We are on the Rappahannock River in Chesapeake Bay, so blue crabs are indigenous to this area. So what I did is I took some blue and green. It was mostly blue. I added a bunch of green to it, blotted it, let it dry. Now, when I cut out these right here, what I did was I cut off the legs. And I did not cut all these little spiky bits and pieces because I figure we could add those back on later with the paint marker. So I did not do all that. All right, so basically it looked like that shape. It's pretty simple, kind of like the dragonfly wings. And I did the same exact method. If this is my folded paper right here, I put a couple pieces together, I put it on the edge, and I traced and cut. So when I opened it up, I had a symmetrical set of, your body parts. Now, when I did the Mod Podge, you'll notice that if I had, these cut symmetrically, his claw would be going in the same spot. So when I put them on, since this paper is really, really thin, I kind of bent some down. So it would give them a little variety. This one I kind of wanted reaching. So this is dry now. And I used, this is actually a really thin sheet of paper too, that I had done some jelly printing on. And we're going to do a class on that because to make painted paper, it is just the best. And it's quick and it's a no fail. No fail. So I'm thinking that I want to use, first of all, I do know that I want to tip the claws with a little red. And I think I'm going to pull you back down and get close here. I'm going to tip all my little claws with red because they are red. They got a little red on them. And it's not all of it, but I just want it to pop. Okay. Now, here we go. I'm thinking, so if we look at these legs, let's just take this one side by side. They've got the what are these things called? I want to call them the feelers. And then they've got the little legs that come out. So I'm wondering if I do legs in blue or do I do it all in black? I might go with just all black and see what it looks like. So let me find my black. I don't know, I'm just kind of scared about the color here. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm going to start at the bottom. And I'm just going to kind of, come on, Posca. Hang on here. Let me grab another one. This one's not being nice. Or do I want to do this with paint? I think I might go with like blue-green paint. That's what I'm going to do. Because I think the marker work would get too tight on it. So I've got some yucky blue right there already. And here's a big brush. Now what I'll do is I'll put the little feelers on or whatnot. And then I'll go back on one that's been dried. All right, so if we just dab, dab, dab. Oh, yeah, much better. Much better than marker. Dab, dab, dab. Okay, do we want to do this too? So we could pull an L. I don't know. Do we want to? Maybe, maybe not. Pull, pull, pull. Because they do have those little joints. I'm thinking I want blue. More of a blue color on here. Put a little black in there. It doesn't have to be perfect either. Okay, so let's dab some feelers. As you can see, dab, dab, dab. I don't know what they're called. I forget. I want to say feelers. Peeler, I don't know. Whatever. Now, remember, we're going to go back with marker on these little bits and pieces here. This one needs to go up. And mine are a little big, but like I said, we're going to be putting the marker on them, so I don't think it's a big deal that they are not perfect. My paint's a little dry too, so we're just going to kind of And if you did not want to do these with the paint, you know, take your marker and do it. But I'm just gonna put a couple in here and there. Okay, so now we have something that really resembles some crabs here. I like it. I like it. I like it. I'm gonna let this dry real quick, and then I'm gonna come right back out to you, and we're gonna put some marker work on these guys. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, friends, this is dry. I dried it really quick. I'm going to use the black, I think. You know, we're doing this all live, so we'll see what happens. Got my Posca. Is this one working? Let's see. Okay, that one's much better. So I'm going to do basically what I did on the dragonflies. You can see all these, oops, you can see all these little bits and pieces of the little spiky goodness. So here we go. I'm just going to start, and I'm going to go around the body first. And I'm going to go around, oh, there goes my top, the claw, very loosey-goosey. I'm going to add spikies, and you see how I'm just kind of letting it go. I'm not really worried about keeping this so tight, you know. And then up here we got spikies. Oh, I like him. He's pretty cute. All right, let's move down. We'll do this guy now. Okay. And spiky, spiky, roundabout, roundabout. You can kind of put like the little joints in just by making little loop-de-loops. Okay. Claw. Little spikies. I love these little spikies. They're pretty cool. Okay. Oh, look at that. I'm loving it. Okay, a little wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And it's almost like you can just kind of let your marker follow the whole, especially the painted paper area that you Mod Podged on. We'll put this one on top of him. And the whole thing with being loose, you know, loosening up in your art, it was hard for me. You could even put, look, 2 little dots there for eyes. It was hard for me to loosen up for a long time. But the whole thing, when you're doing this and it is loose, and all of them are loose, that's how it's supposed to look. That's the whole style or technique here. We're not, you know, we're not so constrained or locked in here. I need to get some little jumpies on here. Loosey, loosey. Come around. It's kind of like the dragonfly. You just kind of put some bumpies on there, and there it is. Oh my gosh, look at that, people. So, now, why couldn't you go through? You could add some white if you wanted to just maybe add a little white highlight here and there. Maybe like on the top of the shell or on the arm, like all one side. So that sunshine is kind of hitting them from one section or the other. There's a lot you can do. I'm going to raise it up so you can see what it looks like all together. This video is off the chain here. I really like that. Check it out. That is so cool. So think about what other critters you could do this with. I really like these crabs. I really, really like these crabs. Oh my gosh. And to think, you know, we're painting sticks here. We put 3 blobs. You painted a stick on your dragonfly, right? That was a stick. Same thing. You can do this, people. Look at that. Even if you did many canvases with just one little crab. You know, how fun would that be? I love it. So have fun with this. I know you're going to. I really can't wait to see what you're going to do, because this is like that's way cool. I really like it a lot. So I'll do a tutorial on the jelly printed paper, Gelli, if you want to look that up in the meantime. There's another brand. I can't remember what it's called now because I took my jelly printing plate out of all the, the wrapping. So I don't remember what it's called, but it's so cool. So I will do a tutorial on that. I may do another one of those next week. So I will see you later. Have a fabulous week. Get out there, get some vitamin D, people. See you soon. Bye.